Hi guys, today's YouTube video is all about suicide prevention. This September is the National Suicide Prevention Month. So I thought I would take today and go through what are some warning signs of suicide, and then if you are a support person or someone who notices these warning signs, what you can do. So first of all, I just want to say there is an increase of suicide amongst our teens and in first responders. And so I really wanted to just point that out. Suicide is also a national health crisis. It is increasing, and it seems like too people are starting to really kind of be desensitized, and we don't want that to happen. We want people to continue the conversation and really look at how we can help when someone is feeling suicidal. So there is this sense of hopelessness and uncertainty about how to really solve the problem that's right in front of them. And in some of the research that I have read, there's testimonials from survivors of suicide who really talk about the moment they attempted, they knew that that wasn't the right thing to do, and that they prayed that they would live so they could really help people, and prevent them from making the same choice. And so survivors do go on and live full lives. So remember, it can and it will get better. And depression, and it isolates. It keeps us in like total tunnel vision of what's happening right in this moment that's really hurting us, and it helps us, or it prevents us really from seeing the other side, that there is hope. And that's why that sense of hopelessness and isolation is also a warning sign. So remember that too. If we all work together, it does get better. I've said it in my other videos before, we're not meant to be in this world alone. And I know there are times, and I've talked about this loneliness epidemics in other videos, that we do feel alone, but we're not. We are meant to be connected. Connection helps us thrive and survive. And so if you're feeling alone right now, know that you're not alone. We're in this together. And there are some hotline numbers that I'm going to read to you right now, and I'm also going to put them in the notes so you can go and refer to them if you need to reach out and call. So there's the national hotline number, which is 1-800-23-TALK, which is 8225. There's the crisis text line. You text hello to 741-741. There's also a crisis line for veterans. So the Veterans Crisis Line is the 1-800-273-8255, and then you press 1. And in the Tampa Bay area, which is where I live, they have just passed an initiative to help first responders. And it's the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. So if you're a first responder and you're having suicidal thoughts and feelings, you just press 211 and go and just tell them who you are, and it'll take you right to a crisis line. And then nationally, there is a Code Green campaign, and the website is codegreencampaign.org, and that is also for first responders. So those are ways to access people, and know that when you go to call that hotline or you send the text, that someone is right there to talk to you. So you are not alone. So what are some warning signs? Some warning signs that someone is, having some suicidal thoughts and feelings. There is a history of depression or mental illness in them. There's an increased use of alcohol or drugs. You start to hear them talk about death or not wanting to be alive anymore, or you start to hear more talk about, oh, this world's kind of better off if I'm not in it. You start to hear kind of more of that talk. Or with teens, and really with people, what we tend to see is a rise of more suicides or suicidal thoughts when, if someone in their school has done it, or I've heard of teens trying to create like a suicide pact, or if there's celebrities. So just, if you start to hear it, start talking about it and name it for them. And I'll get to that in a minute of what to do. But let's move on to another indication or warning sign is people start giving away their prized possessions, or they start contacting you and saying goodbye. So that's another warning sign, is if you feel trapped or you hear this feeling of trapped or hopelessness or helplessness. So it's like you see that they're kind of giving up. Number 6 is isolation, is withdrawal from family, friends, school or social activities. Just don't have an interest anymore. And so that's another sign. And then lastly is they are sleeping more often or not enough, or there's changing in their eating habits. And so those are only 7 on the I'm going to post a link to some other risk factors from NAMI, and really it's a really good list of kind of what to look for or what you might hear to help. And again, these are just 7. There are others. All right, guys, so if you have someone in your life where you're noticing some of these warning signs are presenting themselves, then here's how to help. Listen and ask questions, and name it for them. I know suicide, or even saying it out loud, is a scary thing. However, we need to be able to be the one to verbalize it and put it out there. Sometimes when we're just able to externalize, it helps diminish the secret, helps take it away. And usually when someone's having those suicidal thoughts, they're also feeling a lot of shame and guilt. So be able just to say it out loud helps kind of take away some of that negative story that they're telling themselves. So when you listen and ask questions, the most important thing is be open, be non-judgmental, be supportive. Don't try and fix it for them. I know it might be really scary as that support person to start having this conversation, but if you jump into just fixing or trying to make it better, it feels like you're covering it up, and then they're not as free, or they're not going to be as free to openly talk about it. The best thing is to empathize, to validate, and to be compassionate. Again, be open, be compassionate, validate their emotions. Don't pretend you understand what they're going through. Be non-judgmental. Just really say it out loud for them. And those are the times too, right in that moment, you can start talking to them about the national hotline or the text line, if that's what they need, and if that's what they're asking for. And so that's really the second thing of how to be or how to help someone, is be a real support for them. Don't just put a Band-Aid on something and walk away and then don't follow up. Help them find a therapist. Well, the first thing is to ask, how can I best support you with how you're feeling right now and what you're thinking? If you feel like they're immediately wanting to do this, please call 911 or drive them to a hospital and get them immediate help, or you call the crisis line right in that moment and hand them the phone. Don't leave them alone. Continue to talk to them and to listen. Help them connect with the therapist or the hotline, and follow up, a couple days later, just to check in. The other thing is, if depending on who they are in your life, sometimes it's helpful not only to find a therapist, but tell them that you'll drive them there. If financial situation, if you're able to help them pay for it, not to enable, but to take that first step. All right, then I would do that. And you want to really create open doors and not close them, because they're going to want to try and close doors. And then the last thing is, check up and follow up, like I was just saying, or follow through. Follow up, follow through. Just ask them how they're doing. Some of the things, we all are busy, every one of us. And I've heard before, when someone has gone through a suicide, the people in their life said, I should have reached out more, or I didn't take the time. And that's, survivor's guilt. But what I want to say is 2 things. First of all, if you're the support person, you're not responsible for someone else's choices. And I'll talk about that more in a minute. But reach out. Even if you haven't talked to someone in a while, just reach out. I'm not saying that person's suicidal, but connection, again, we thrive in connection. So, you know, it's helpful to reach out to people and just say, hey, I was just thinking about you, hope you're doing well. You know, that kind of, even if it's just a brief encounter. I've said in previous videos, a smile to a stranger makes their day, and you don't even know it, but it matters. So, you know, remember that too. Kindness wins, kindness matters, be kind. You know, that doesn't take any extra energy. All right, so I want to get back to, if you're the support person helping someone, take care of yourself. I've done a video on self-care, but finding ways to take care of yourself. You know, suicide is, or even suicide prevention, it can be heavy and it can be scary. So in what ways are you taking care of yourself, you know, so you can help yourself and not get kind of caught up in some negative spirals. Talk to your own therapist or support group about how you're feeling or what's going on. And as I said, remember someone else's mental health and safety and choices, they're not your responsibility. They have to want to get help, and really our responsibility when we're helping someone is to provide support, information, listening, following through, and really helping them find access to a professional. So remember those national hotline numbers, and again, I'll post them in the comments section. So, you know, this is just a brief video on what are some warning signs and what to do if you're a support person. And as I said, just so you know, the information of how to access that help is going to be in the comment section. All right, guys, you're not alone in this. We are all connected. Have a beautiful day.